Ever feel like something is off when you're at the airport? You follow the signs, you pass through security, you sit and wait, but somewhere deep down, it doesn't feel like you're in control. That's not an accident. That's not your imagination. That's exactly how it's supposed to feel. From the very first step you take inside the terminal, you're stepping into a carefully engineered system not just for safety, but for control, influence, and yes, even profit. Take the floors for example. You may not notice it at first, but most airports begin with smooth, fast tile near the entrance. Then, as you move deeper toward the gates, it shifts to soft carpet. It feels nicer on your feet, more comfortable, but that's not the reason. It's what psychologists call cognitive friction. The texture slows you down literally. It makes you walk more calmly, think less critically, and subconsciously comply with the flow. It keeps crowds docile, passengers passive, and shopping behaviors predictable. Even the lighting plays a role. Cooler lights at security create urgency and alertness. Warmer lights near the shops make you feel safe, open, and more likely to make impulsive purchases. You're not just being guided, you're being shaped. Every inch of that airport is a behavioral experiment and you are the test subject. And if you think you're safe just sitting down to charge your phone, think again. Many seating areas, especially around TSA zones, customs booths, and secondary screening areas are embedded with directional microphones and discrete security cameras. Yes, some of them are there for safety, but others, they're analyzing tone of voice, facial tension, even the way you hold your phone. You're not just a traveler. You're a profile being constantly updated in real time. And it doesn't stop there. Have you ever wondered why airport signage is always just a little unclear? Why you sometimes second-guess which gate to walk toward? That subtle confusion. It keeps you looking around, scanning, exposed. It makes you easier to track and harder to control your own timeline. You're not late because you're unorganized. You're late because you're designed to be. From the carpeting to the seat placement, from the background music to the vending machine layout, your airport experience is not just a matter of logistics. It's a fully designed environment built to manage your behavior, influence your choices, and collect your data while you think you're just waiting for a flight. And here's the catch: this is all before you even board the plane. Because once those cabin doors close, a whole different system takes over. You finally board the plane. You find your seat. You settle in, maybe even sigh in relief. But what if I told you that from this moment on, the illusion of safety is just that, an illusion? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The dirtiest, most bacteria-infested spot on the entire aircraft isn't the toilet. It's the tray table right in front of you. Yes, that thin plastic surface you're about to rest your meal on, or maybe lean your arms across while watching a movie. It's statistically more contaminated than the flush button in the lavatory. It's been swabbed by independent labs, E. coli, staphylococcus, mold, even traces of bodily fluids. Why? Because tray tables aren't cleaned between every flight. In most cases, they're wiped down once a day if that. And yet passengers eat on them, sneeze on them, change diapers on them. And that's just the beginning. Seat belts, rarely cleaned. Armrests, covered in skin oils, crumbs, and everything people don't want to wipe off on their own clothes. And those seatback screens. They're touched hundreds of times a day by fingers that just came from airport bathrooms, snack wrappers, and God knows what else. You think you're safe because the plane looks clean. But what you're really seeing is surface-level maintenance done in under 10 minutes by a crew racing against turnaround times. The kind of cleaning that satisfies regulations, not immune systems. And here's something else. That soothing air blowing from the overhead vent, that's your best friend. Unlike the surfaces around you, the air filtration system on most commercial aircraft is actually hospital-grade. It uses HEPA filters capable of trapping 99.9% of airborne bacteria and viruses. That means the air you're breathing is often cleaner than the armrest you're touching. So what should you do? Always board with a small pack of sanitizing wipes. Clean the tray table, the belt buckle, the screen, the window if you're sitting beside it, and especially that air vent dial because you're going to need it. And once you've wiped everything down, open that vent and let it blast. Not just for airflow, but as a physical barrier between you and the stranger beside you. Keep the invisible germs moving away from you, not toward you. And while you're at it, skip the seat pocket. That place is a black hole of bacteria. People shove trash, tissues, old gum, even used diapers in there. You won't see it, but it's there. Just avoid it altogether. You boarded the plane to reach a destination. But to arrive healthy, clean, and alert, you need to know the battlefield you're sitting in. Because once you're buckled in, the airline isn't protecting you. That's your job. Mid-flight, the seatbelt sign is off. A cart rattles down the aisle. You hear the familiar question, "Would you like something to drink?" You glance at the menu. Coffee sounds tempting, warm, comforting. But before you say yes, there's something you need to know. The water used to brew that in-flight coffee doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from the aircraft's internal water tank. A tank that, in most cases, is decades old. And unlike fuel systems or hydraulic controls, water tanks aren't subject to strict daily maintenance. In fact, some are rarely cleaned at all. Independent studies have tested water from commercial flights and found traces of coliform bacteria, including E. coli. In one FDA survey, over 12% of aircraft failed basic water safety standards. Not food service standards, drinking water standards. And yet, that's the water used to make your coffee, your tea, even to rinse off fruit in the galley. Still thirsty? And it's not just the tank, the lines carrying the water through the plane. Filled with biofilm, microbial buildup, residue that can sit for years. Now imagine that heated, not boiled, just heated to around 70 to 80 degrees Celsius. Warm enough to feel hot in a cup, but not hot enough to kill everything inside. That's why flight attendants, the people who know the plane best, almost never drink the in-flight coffee themselves. If you ask them off the record, many will admit they bring their own drinks. They know better, and now you do, too. So what's the alternative? Stick to bottled beverages. Water, juice, canned soda, anything sealed and served cold. Better yet, bring your own water through security or buy one before boarding. Because once you're in the air, your choices shrink and your risks rise. And if you do decide to take the coffee anyway, let the crew pour it. Pouring boiling liquid on a moving, unstable platform like an airplane is an art. One bad bump and you're looking at second-degree burns mid-flight. It's happened. It continues to happen. And in many cases, it ends with emergency landings. So the next time that cart comes rolling down the aisle, don't just ask what you want. Ask where it came from and how long it's been sitting there. Because what you drink up there doesn't just go through you, it stays with you long after you land. Most people think dressing for a flight is about comfort. Loose clothes, maybe a hoodie, flip-flops, and you're good to go. But what you wear on a plane isn't just about feeling relaxed, it's about staying alive if things go wrong. Let's start with shoes. Flip-flops and backless sandals may feel great at the gate, but in an emergency, they're your worst enemy. They slide off during evacuation. They offer no protection from fire, sharp debris, or even the scorching hot tarmac. And heels, flight attendants are trained to remove them during evacuation drills. Why? Because high heels can puncture the emergency slide. If you're wearing them, you're either staying behind or going barefoot across jagged metal, broken glass, or burning plastic. And speaking of barefoot, don't ever. That plain carpet you're tempted to dig your toes into, it's soaked in months of grime. People spill food, step with dirty shoes, even walk to the lavatory half asleep, sometimes barefoot. And that mysterious moisture on the lavatory floor, let's just say it's not water. Going barefoot on a flight is like licking a public doorknob with your feet. Instead, wear closed-toe shoes with real grip. Lightweight sneakers are perfect. You want something that won't fall off, that won't melt under heat, and that won't leave your skin exposed if things get ugly. Now let's talk clothing. Those flowy dresses, long scarves, and loose pants may look great for Instagram, but in a cramped cabin or during an emergency slide evacuation, they become traps. They snag on armrests, catch in closing doors, and get dragged across filthy floors. Even in normal conditions, that maxi skirt might sweep across a wet lavatory floor, pick up everything you never wanted near your skin, and bring it right back to your seat. You don't need to wear tactical gear, but you do need to be smart. Avoid synthetic fabrics that melt under heat. Avoid belts that set off scanners and make you undress at security. Go for dark, fitted, breathable layers that let you move quickly, stay covered, and avoid visible stains if something spills on you. And yes, don't forget socks. If you have to take your shoes off for security, socks are your only defense between you and the floor. Compression socks, even better. They improve circulation, reduce swelling, and lower your risk of blood clots. Long flights aren't just boring, they can be medically dangerous. One simple clothing choice can make the difference between arriving safely or ending up in a hospital bed with DVT. Flying isn't Fashion Week. It's controlled risk at 35,000 feet. What you wear may never matter, or it might matter more than anything. Choose like your life depends on it, because sometimes it does. You're halfway through a flight, everything seems normal. A chime sounds. A flight attendant picks up the phone, nods silently, and keeps moving. To you, it's just background noise, but to the crew, it might mean something else entirely. Airlines use coded language every day, not to keep you calm but to keep you unaware. When someone dies mid-flight, you won't hear the word death, you'll hear Jim Wilson. When there's a serious medical emergency, it might be Operation Bright Star. If there's a threat in the cabin, you'll never know until you land, because panic costs time, and time costs lives. And if the captain ever tells you we're experiencing a minor technical delay, it could mean a hydraulic leak, a cracked windshield, or a full systems reset midair. It's not a lie, it's what they call necessary language. But here's the thing, what you don't know can still affect you. And now, you do know. So next time you board a plane, remember, you're not just flying. You're entering a system designed to control what you see, what you hear, and what you believe. If this video changed how you see air travel, share it. Someone else out there is boarding right now still thinking it's just a flight.